Are we reaching the end of the crazy hot housing market? Are we about to see price reductions everywhere? Is this the start of the housing crash that everyone's been talking about? Well, in today's video, we're going to take a look at the most recent data that's happening in the current housing market and how it shows that things are changing out there. The housing market is slowing a bit. And we're going to show you how that might benefit you as a buyer in this real estate market. And at the same time, we're going to take a look at a property that I just put on the market and how that activity is different than what it was a couple of months ago, and how those changes might affect you as a buyer or seller in today's market. So the most recent data out there shows that new listings are actually down 7% year over year. At the same time, active listings are down nearly 23% year over year. And at the same time, you have Google saying the people searching for homes online is down nearly 3% from where it was this time last year. So you've got less active inventory on the market. You've got less people searching for inventory. You've got less people, nearly 23% of people on Redfin searching for home tours, which shows that the housing market is changing a little bit. But at the same time, you've got the median home price going up to $397,000, along with interest rates going up 5%. And that's nearly a 35% increase in mortgage payment for most home buyers out there. So affordability is definitely coming into play, which is causing things to slow, right? As interest rates go up, as home prices continue to rise, there's less people out there that can purchase those properties. And that's another reason that you're probably seeing mortgage applications, the people applying for a loan, are down 6%, which is causing demand to drop. And at the same time, you're seeing 3.2% of homes for sale each week do some sort of price reduction. So homes are dropping in price. You've got less people out there searching for them, but you've got new listings down. You've got, prices rising. So what does all of this mean if you're a home buyer out there? Why are we seeing these changes? Well, we're going to use all this data in just a moment to translate it into a current listing that I have that I just put on the market about a week ago in just a minute. But let's talk about why we're seeing less homes on the market. We've talked about this before, but as a seller, one of the things that sellers look for when selling their current property is a property to buy in most cases. Most sellers don't sell their property and go rent. Some sellers do. Some sellers are looking to take advantage of the market. Some sellers already have a home that they've purchased so they can sell their home outright and not necessarily need another property to buy. But most sellers are doing some sort of like-kind purchase, right? They're selling a single-family home and they're usually buying a more expensive property, right? Another single family home. But sellers in this market, they look at the market and they go, there's nothing out there for me to buy. There's nothing that I want to purchase. I can tell you from personal experience, I'm one of those potential sellers. I'm looking at, I'm actually not looking to sell my property. I'm looking to keep it and rent it out, but I'm looking to potentially move and buy another property. But I look at the current inventory out there and I go, there's nothing in this market that I would pay for, right? There's nothing out there that I like, that fits my family's needs, that I see desirable. And I think you have a lot of sellers out there having the same feelings, and therefore that's keeping inventory off the market. At the same time, you had potential sellers that would have sold their homes, but now interest rates are up. Prices continue to move sideways to up in most markets, right? The data a moment ago that we talked about said only 3.2% of active homes for sale each week have some sort of price reduction. In those properties, we don't know how they were priced to start with. Were they overpriced? Were they priced at fair market value? In my experience, most homes on the market at the moment that are seeing price reductions are those sellers that tried to shoot for the moon, that thought their home was worth way more than what the market supported. And those homes are likely to see a price reduction. And there's also a fear on sellers at the moment. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute and in a listing that I have and how those sellers had some fear, in selling that property at the price that we had. But I think that's part of the problem. You have less inventory on the market. That's one reason buyer demand is dropping. Another reason buyer demand is dropping is because of affordability. Like we said, right? There's buyers definitely getting priced out of the market. And if you're a buyer out there, this might be a good opportunity for you to get into the real estate market, assuming, again, you have that longer term time horizon, you have money in the bank, you have, reserves, and you're not stretching yourself. Those are important things in this market. I don't know if we're at a peak in prices. I do think prices can continue to move sideways to up, But if you look historically at, say, the baseline for appreciation over the last 30 to 40 years, it's been on average about 5% year over year. But when you have 2 years on average that's seen 30% increase in price over a 2-year period, in order for that 5% baseline, if you will, to maintain over a longer period of time, you do need some pullbacks in prices. I'm not sure we're there yet, but that's why a longer term time horizon is important. But let's talk a minute here about the listing that I had. So out of 3 people they interviewed, I was the agent that had the highest price, right? I wasn't trying to win the listing by coming in with the highest listing price, but I was the agent that thought the home was worth the most. In this case, it was $899,000. Another one of the agents thought it was around $850,000, the other one around $875,000. So we were all about $25,000 off. But I was at the top end of that price range. And so I did what I normally do. I put it on the market as a coming soon on a Wednesday. It went active on a Friday. We didn't allow any showings until Saturday and Sunday. And so on Saturday, we had an open house. Activity was pretty good. It was busy, but not crazy busy like it was a couple of months ago. And I expected it because interest rates were higher. But I didn't receive any calls from agents asking any questions about the property, asking if we had any other offers, asking when we were going to look at offers or any of that. And that to me was a little unusual because a couple of months ago, I would have expected actually to receive calls when I put it on the market as a coming soon. I would have expected agents to reach out to me to ask if they could get in there early or, ask things about the property. I didn't receive that. So that to me was a little bit odd. And then Sunday comes around, and again, showings are down from where they would have been a couple of months ago, which again is to be expected. You're at a higher price point in that market, and interest rates are higher. But again, no calls from agents really during that period. And the agent doing the open house did say, hey, there was a couple of buyers that were interested. There were a couple of buyers that came in on Sunday, that came in on Saturday, and they're probably interested in writing offers. Now, 3 months prior to this, we would have already had multiple offers, in my opinion. Activity would have been way busier, but over that 2-day period, Saturday, Sunday, we didn't receive any offers. And it's not, woe is me, Jeb, you didn't get any offers. I'm just telling you what happened in the market. So no offers over that 2-day period. Now Monday comes around and I start getting calls from agents. Hey, my client's interested. When are you presenting offers? Do you have any offers? No, I don't have any offers. We're looking at them as they come in. And so between Monday and Tuesday, I received 6 offers. Now, that shows you that the market is still moving pretty good, right? So we listed it $899, which is about what I thought it was worth. We had offers. Actually, we had one that was below the list price, but we ended up accepting an offer at $950,000. Actually, the offer that was below the asking price ended up coming up too, but we had 3 offers above $940,000 and one at $950,000. So it ended up selling for about 5% over the list price, which is pretty normal in that market. But the difference is it took a couple of days to get it. And there were less offers than I actually expected, believe it or not. So we only received 6 offers. We ended up selling it for 5% more, like I mentioned. But, a couple of months ago, we would have received offers that Saturday from any serious buyer. This time, it took them a couple of days. So they're kind of waiting a little bit, is what I'm seeing, on making a decision in this market. And so that was a little bit different. But what was interesting to me is the seller and I had a conversation on Sunday. And the seller expressed disappointment that they didn't already have offers, which to me is a little bit crazy, but it's only crazy because, the market has been moving so fast. And when they purchased their other property, out of state, they had to do crazy things, right? And so that's what they were used to. And so when they didn't get that kind of activity on their property, they started getting concerned. And I had to, tell them, hey, look, the average days on market nationwide is about 18 days on market. So the fact that your property didn't sell in 2 days doesn't mean it's not priced right. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with your property. It just means it's, it might take a couple of more days to get that offer. And I think that's interesting because if you're a seller out there or if you're a buyer, sellers might get worried because their properties don't sell immediately. They might think something's wrong with the pricing and immediately reduce their price. That's why they need a professional agent to let them know, hey, look, no, what you're seeing is more normal. What you saw 2 months ago or 3 months ago isn't normal. even though it was the norm for a year or so. So, people not making an offer immediately, it's still okay. You're still likely to receive your price. And I think had I expressed to the seller, like, hey, listen, I think we need to reduce our price, they probably would have done it. So it's interesting to see the seller's mindset. Sellers out there think because the market has been so hot, because of what they watch, they think their home should sell the first day. And if it doesn't, they start to think something is wrong. So if you're a seller out there, you need to trust the process a little bit. Especially if you have an agent that you trust and that you think is doing, the right thing, let your agent lead. Because, had I suggested us reducing the price, we probably could have. In fact, we probably could have listed it for lower to start with based on my conversation with the seller, but I wanted to go with a higher price just because I thought it was actually worth it. But as a buyer, I think it's important to note, hey, you might have better opportunities coming up, less competition on homes, less craziness out there in the market. So just be patient with the process. Don't make quick, irrational decisions. And, stick to your plan, and you'll likely end up in a really good situation. But just keep in mind, all real estate's local, right? What's happening in my market right here might be a little bit different than your market. So make sure you're using that in making the right decision for you. But if you're wondering right now, should you buy? Should you wait with all this craziness going on? Do me a favor, check out this video here. I dive into it in more detail. But for now, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate the support. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.